Intermittent fasting, big trend in the media on nutrition and another fad diet. So who is it beneficial for and not so beneficial for? I'm gonna break that down, but first I wanna go over the benefits of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting helps with the digestive system. So help repair the digestive system, reduces inflammation, and also helps with cognitive function, so with brain fog. So who is a not so good candidate? A not so good candidate is someone who is dealing with stress dysfunction, which is AKA adrenal fatigue. I'm not a fan of the term adrenal fatigue, but stress dysfunction of the adrenals. And I'll kind of break down the adrenals. You have your adrenal glands that sit on your kidneys. That is where your cortisol is produced. It's actually produced in the zona fasciolata of the adrenal glands. You have 3 different zones in your adrenals, and that's where it's produced. Now, if you are in a stress dysfunction in your adrenal glands, that means that your receptors in and out of your zona fasciolata are not able to regulate and process and produce and release either the cortisol. We need cortisol, and we need, every time we eat, our body releases cortisol, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the natural process. That's what we need, the cortisol of coming from the adrenals, and we need our insulin from our pancreas, and those need to be in balance with each other to regulate our blood sugar level. Now, those that have a stress dysfunction of the adrenals or thyroid dysfunction should avoid intermittent fasting, because what it does is when you are fasting, it's lowering your cortisol more, and so it's creating more stress on the body. So those are candidates that should avoid intermittent fasting. Now, who are great candidates for it? Women with PCOS are great candidates for it. And the reason why is that it helps with the receptors in regulating your sex hormones. Now, cortisol and insulin are hormones, but they're not our sex hormones. So helping with insulin resistance are candidates that are really good for intermittent fasting. But I always advise that you are working with a practitioner if you are insulin resistant, and if you have adrenal fatigue, or don't just diagnose yourself with that, do some testing, saliva testing to check your cortisol and DHEA ratio. Those two need to have a ratio too, to have a balance in your body. Now, if you are going to do intermittent fasting, I always advise an on-ramping of 12 to 14 hour window, starting out with 1 to 2 days per week, and listen to your body. If it doesn't feel good, if you're having those dips and you'll feel it in your blood sugar level, it's not right for you. You want to feel great. You should have energy and feeling good, and you should have a balance in your mood. If you're starting to feel fatigue and knowing that you're having those dips and mood swings, then eat every 2 to 4 hours, but generally 3 hours. That's what I advise my clients. Every 3 hour window with rich, nutrient dense foods is really going to be your best bet for regulating your blood sugar level and for weight loss.